Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Just getting a couple of things squared away and finalized, like always.
What?
I'm here.
Oh.
I'm live. I need to get this all zoomed out and zoomed in and all that shit. Okay. What's going on, folks? How's it going? Need to get everything all situated. I'm waiting for my playback to come through. And then we will get it started. My playback isn't going to come through because it's being a jerk. Can you guys see me? Can you guys see me? I didn't ask if you were hard and ready. I'm going to refresh this. Okay, yeah, I can see myself now. All right, we're good. So a little bit of a just a little bit of a delay there. In fact, I think the playback that I had on there for like 2 hours froze. All right. Obviously, I'm going to be putting this over on the Facebook and the stuff to get started as per usual because we are super professional here in Cover Killer Nation Streamland. That is what we are all about. Another thing I know I have to do for my own appeal, or for my own accord, really, is I need to mute this so I don't hear myself twice. You guys may not ever hear it, but I do through my headphones. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? First like. You're one of those guys that care about the first like, are you? I know many people that probably feel that you are an interesting individual. I'm going to say that. You're a beautiful person. You're a beautiful person. Man, I still can't see worth shit. I was outside today. I was at a park with some kids. It was pretty cool. But speaking, before we get into metal and the media, which is our theme for the evening, and I don't know if we're going to be talking and touching base on that all evening, probably just briefly during the beginning, and then I think we'll probably end this stream with a little bit of just free form. You know, chat dictates the conversation. But I didn't even realize until last night, or maybe it was the night before, I was looking through some comments on some videos. And I'm not sure if you guys have watched the CKN Classic, Why I Think Most Local Bands Fail. Someone in there told me to go get laid. And I had to, it's such an argument that you get a lot of the times whenever you have an opinion on the internet. But especially whenever you have an opinion on the internet about music, especially if somebody has perhaps been in a local band and they have failed. I think it hit a little bit too close to home. I gave him a nice little reply. This is, I guess, what I'm saying. I'm not trying to brag. And I would like to either show this to you or just read it to you. I think I'll just end up having to read it to you. And, of course, in true CKN fashion, we are 100% professional. We do this stuff on the fly. We think it up on the fly. The initial comment was, go get laid, dude, lol. Let me ask you something besides the skin flute. Have you ever played an instrument with any talent? Fucking idiot. And we have a couple people that were able to reply to that. And I thank you for that. And then my reply was, actually, you're right. Getting laid can make your band fail too, especially if you fuck your bassist's mom. Not a good idea. Sounds more like a couple words or phrases touched a few nerves. Such a shame, because within those harsh realities are some real helpful tips on how to potentially get somewhere. Probably should have also mentioned that acting perpetually 13 doesn't get you far unless you're a pop singer. Timing is also a factor, so if a great skin flute movement comes, I guess in your eyes, I'd be multi-platinum in the making. But I got to admit that I'm more of a novice of the instruments. Every time I go to practice, someone else grabs it first. It's making learning difficult. Oh well, she's hot and plays it well, so no complaints. If you'd like some advice on how to remove the rather large stick that appears stuck in your ass, butter. Lots of butter. And generally treat your rump as an exit only in the future. Just saying. Yeah, it's not something that you get. I don't do that often. I don't contribute a lot often to comments and things like that, simply because if I did that, I would be spending my whole day and night just replying to comments on videos and everywhere, really. And don't take that as don't comment to me. Please do, as I love sifting through and reading some of them and laughing with them. It's a lot. It really is. And I want more. So I'm a sadist, I suppose. But heavy metal and the media. First of all, I need to clean these glasses, I think. Oh, yeah, just a little bit. Heavy metal and the media. You might wonder what I kind of mean by this, or what the implication is. And it was something that was rattling in my brain last evening. Man, I froze for a minute, so I was looking to see if my net had cut out. It was something that was rattling through my brain last evening whenever I was considering what happened with Ivan Moody this past week. Regardless of your opinion on Five Finger Death Punch, that is currently 100% moot. It's not at all part of this conversation as to what band that he's a part of. But doesn't it just seem that whenever heavy metal is mentioned in the news, the connotation is usually not all of that good? Either that or somebody has died. It's either tragic, somebody has done something pretty messed up, or it's usually spotlighting something that's a bit ridiculous about the genre, like Oakley Dokley. I dig the idea of, weird themed bands that have a little bit of fun behind them. I'm definitely in support of that. I am pro fun whenever it comes to music. But why is it that if somebody like Katy Perry decides to paint her toenails a different color, that's considered to be newsworthy, and they somehow spin it into how this is her way of supporting lesbianism in the movies, or her way of supporting trees being planted in the Amazon, or how it's supporting infants being rescued by individuals, or tiger sharks being given the Medal of Freedom, or whatever the fuck it might be. What is the deal? What is the deal with that? It's kind of ridiculous. It seems as though, and I don't want that for heavy metal. That's the thing. Metal in the media, what we have to talk about tonight is specifically how things seem to be reflected in this heavy metal media, and how perhaps we, as the metal generation of today, can definitely affect that in a more positive way, and how we are affecting it right now. But also, more so, the bigger question is, do we want that kind of mainstream attention? Do we want the same attention that some of these assholes are getting? I remember whenever Ariana Grande went into a donut shop and licked the donut, and then said that she hated America because of some conversation that was later omitted. That blew up into a controversy because she stated that she hated America. I'll tell you right now, and it will probably appear as though I'm biased, considering I do enjoy Ariana Grande. There's a proof. But how many times throughout your daily life or throughout your routine, have you or your friends say that you hate something whenever you really don't? Whenever you just make an over-the-top egregious sentiment, whenever it's not actually the way that you feel, it's just a reactionary thing for that moment in time. And I understand that celebrities can't do that because they're constantly influencing individuals and this and that and these and schlees and whatever. But they're human beings just the same. I think what really needs to be said about that is that folks need to stop looking at these people as role models through and through, like they're the perfect human beings, because no human being is perfect, not even the Pope. But TMZ is where we begin here. Now, I want to say that on Thursday, whenever I first saw this story and saw that it was first reported by TMZ, the mistake that I made was immediately thinking nothing of it. Of immediately thinking that there's a good chance that this could be really screwed up and really true. Because whenever it comes to heavy metal, TMZ really doesn't say very much. It's not a traditional market that they go with. But that is something that has happened with this situation. And of course, we had the blow up on every other website that had anything to do with music or with heavy metal that was kind of running with the story as well, principally because at that point in time, there was no communication from the band to really defame that article or to prove that it wasn't true. Instead, the radio silence almost kind of indicated that maybe it was true, and they were kind of getting their affairs with people that are involved in order prior to really going public themselves. And then, of course, it morphed a little bit into what it became. And then Zoltan, of course, made his comments. Now, understand that whenever I posted, and I'm wrong about my timing, it was Wednesday. Understand that whenever I posted the second video about it, and there is a second video about it, it involves TMZ's horrible journalism, which most of you, no doubt, already feels, that way about it. But I've never talked about it before, you know what I mean? I've never mentioned anything about it in any video or anything in the past, as far as I know, so it needed to be stated because they were already going back to the well. They were already going back to the well and making up another story, which the sad part is that after the way they handled the first story, if the second one ended up being true, I don't believe it, and I would say probably about 90% of people don't believe it. So if that one's true, then everyone's going to look like a victim blamer. Either that or everyone's going to look like that if you report something like this, that no one will believe you. Kind of the Jack and the Beanstalk thing, or the boy who cried wolf, rather, I guess. It's sad that that's how things are dictated, but if you believe everything that you hear and everything that you see and everything that you read, chances are that you're going to be disappointed more often than not. What's funny about it is that the Radke hoax definitely appeared more like a hoax whenever it happened. Principally because it was only covered on one website for the most part, which was really surprising, by the way. That was really, really surprising. Considering some of the buffoonery that Metal Sucks partakes in, I really expected them to take that story and just run a mile with it, and they didn't. A little bit proud of them for that, considering they didn't conform to, I guess, my expectations. They didn't do what I thought that they would do. But still very surprised that did not happen. I'm not going for the presidency. No. It's too much work. It's too much work. I had to sift through like major messes throughout the world in that case. So it got me thinking, TMZ should probably just keep their paws out of metal. And really, TMZ should probably just stop producing news to begin with. I don't need to see 54 photos of Kylie Jenner's trip to Mexico, most of which illuminates her ass, or most of which are considered scandalous or awesome and hot because she's in a bikini. I don't care. I really don't. Because Kylie Jenner is another one of these fuck-offs that have done absolutely nothing to earn their status in the spotlight. Absolutely nothing. But because of the spotlights being firmly fixated on her, she now has mansions that are larger than... For doing nothing. For doing nothing. For doing nothing. She essentially was given, by birthright, everything. And apparently, things are happening in the sports ball universe. Because my phone keeps going off. I'm a sports fan. But heavy metal, I mean, we have websites that do report. We do have websites that obviously try to spread the message and the media and everything around. But I guess I leave this up to you. I leave this question up to you. Do we want something that is almost like heavy metal's version of CNN, like MNN, the Metal News Network, whose sole job is to keep up with heavy metal news throughout the course of the world? Do we want something that's that large? Or do we want something that could be that prone to mistakes and that prone to sensationalism? Because that's what TMZ essentially is. They're a sensationalist paper. I would sooner probably believe an Onion article than subscribe to TMZ and read their articles on a regular basis. Who the hell cares that it was a jiu-jitsu hold? That's all I'll say. Who cares? 2015. If you want a Who Cares 2015 t-shirt, why the fuck do you care if it's a jiu-jitsu hold? If you're choking somebody, you're choking somebody. It doesn't matter if you're choking somebody in the style of Genghis Khan, Charlie Brown, Sasha Grey, or fucking Andrew McCutcheon. You could be choking them in the form of Jackie Chan, of Kobe Tai, of Kobe Bryant. Bill Cosby could have been choked with roofies. Maybe it was choked by Mittens the kitten. Maybe that's the style that it was. The Mittens paw choke. The deadly Mittens paw choke. It's fucking ridiculous. You don't need that. I should have known. I beat myself up about that because the minute I saw that, I should have known that it was bullshit. The sign was right there. Sign was right there. I don't care if Ivan Moody's an asshole, a douchebag, or a great and upstanding, fantastic guy who paints the fingernails of any freaking, daughters that he might have, who plays catch with his son and, gives him all of this encouragement whenever it comes to, school and work and not work, but schoolwork and sports and maybe music and stuff like that. It doesn't matter at this stage. It doesn't matter. Ivan Moody could be the biggest asshole on the planet. He could have walked into his family home that same night and decided to take out a gun and just shoot up the walls and be like, they want to see me as a bad guy. There you go. There you go. It doesn't matter at this point. Because if it was reported on TMZ, I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't. They could take me on a video tour of the goddamn house whenever it happened. Hell, he could be wearing gun cam while he's doing it, and I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't. So do we need the Metal News Network? I mean, do we need something like that? I think that some people might say that Blabbermouth is kind of like that. That's what they're going for. Blabbermouth.net. I think we need something a little bit more. I think we need something that's a little bit more all-encompassing. Something where the highlight is news, but you can easily go to forums and easily get. It's like a combination of a lot of different things. It's a platform to really launchpad your career. If you're in a band, a way to distribute things a little bit more. You might be looking at me like, hey, CKN, you stupid prick, why the hell won't you do that? Why won't you make this website? First of all, I don't have that kind of time. Second of all, whenever it comes to making websites, I don't have that kind of skill. My website would probably no doubt look like a fucking third grader did it in MS Paint, because whenever it comes to little touch-ups and things like that, if I can't do it in Sony Vegas, I do it in Paint. Like, if I want to be lazy with something in a video, such as a still for the the image for the video, I do it in Paint. Don't care. 2015, don't care. 2015 DGIF. Make that hashtag just trend on Twitter. We should try to get something to trend on Twitter for no reason. I've tried that in the past. Not very seriously. But it'd be really funny. I thought for sure I had some cards up here on the top right-hand corner of the screen. Where the hell are they? What the fuck? Well, since I don't see them, which is ridiculous, how many of you in the chat, how many of you have watched the Iron Maiden, the tracker view for the new Iron Maiden song? I'm going to wait for a couple seconds. And Medieval, I do know that, principally because I already have a copy. What isn't leaked nowadays? Well, you know what? I'm feeling froggy. There's an old website that I used to use a long time ago. Let's see if, first of all, it's still up and running, or second of all, what is available right now. I'm having a face made at me, which is hysterical. Did you hear my rant about how Ivan Moody could be like Satan himself, and I wouldn't care because TMZ reported it?
Really good?
I have no fucking clue. And right now, I don't really fucking care. I really don't. Like, he could have just decided to rape his dog and murder his cat with a Cheerio, and I would just be like, okay, TMZ wrote that? I don't fucking believe it at all. Yeah, like how the hell can you... I can't see your hair. Let me... One moment, please. What's the deal here? Oh, you got more of it? Or you like 7? Okay, I like it. Looks nice. What? Okay, fine. 8.
Oh. That makes it so much better.
Doesn't it? So it's like one dip. It's like 1 year difference. Mittens, what up, buddy? What up, buddy? Well, we're taking a look here, and oh, the new Disturbed is available. Goody gumdrops for everybody. Oh my God! Now there's a cat in my face. Principally a cat ass. Once again, you have like a magnet. Your ass is a magnet to my phone. Talking to God, I see. Yes.
Why, thank you.
Don't give her more of an ego than she already has, guys. But yeah, CKN and the media. I of course asked about the new Iron Maiden song. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch the review yet, definitely do that. I'm seeing in my own playback Mittens just being on the screen. It's hysterical. Definitely check that one out and share that one. That's one to share. I also had plan for these magical cards that just decided not to show up. The CKN React series. There's a whole playlist. There's a whole freaking playlist. There's 60 of them, for crying out loud. It's nuts. This is something that started last year, for those of you who don't know. Started last year because of Asking Alexandria making some comments about Metallica. And as of right now, it's probably one of the most successful CKN series. We've only done 60 of them in 400 days, roughly. Probably a little more than that, but you get the point. That was what was supposed to be on the side of your screen. If it's there, great. If not, I'm not surprised. Simba. Circle of Life. Actually, the Circle of Mittens.
Aww.
I'm going to sit here.
He doesn't want to sit there.
Fine, he doesn't want to sit there. I don't know. I don't think that metal needs that kind of media attention of like a big, Metal News Network type thing, all of that much. I don't think it's really essential. I don't think it's really all of that essential. But, it would almost be something where I would trust some of those sources a little bit more, unless you got basically the entire Metal Suck staff to work for the Metal News Network. Then forget about it. I get that half of that shit isn't supposed to be taken seriously. Black, yak, whatever. But it's irritating. It really is. I still follow one of them on Twitter, and their posts make me really, really hope that if I get cancer in the next 24 hours, that it kills me. I know that's kind of mean. Hashtag don't care 2015. This is a callback joke now, folks. If I knew I had somebody in makeup, I'd have you do this before. Wow.
What's stuff on your shirt?
Everything is just collapsing right around me. Oh, Lord. Dear God, what the hell has happened here? This whole entire stream is broken. It is broken down. Oh, man. Well, I think that this is a good place to kind of transition over to just you guys telling me what you want to hear. And now I'm watching myself get lint picked off of me in the playback. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? This whole thing has gone crazy. This has gone nuts. It is me, after all. One final note. Remember whenever this whole thing with Justin Lowe happened, and we, of course, all had to think, what if it's just like the asshole from Upon a Burning Body again? That's another reason why the media sucks these days. Because it forces you to ask those questions. It forces you to ask those questions, and you shouldn't have to ask those questions. Oh, I thought there was a band out there called Mr. Flipper. I didn't realize that was some dude's name.
Yes, Mr. Flipper the band.
Yeah.
Hey, man, where's the Oakley Dokley?
I didn't even mention that to you. You saw that on your own volition. Alkali.
They sing like Ned Flanders too.
I don't even remember. I blocked that from my mind.
Was it really bad?
I've just blocked it from my mind. They're just another one of those bands that come around and they have a gimmick within a gimmick. This is very distracting.
You're distracted.
Would you please leave? I thought you were reading.
I was reading. I went to go to the bathroom and then I came here to bother you.
Well, mission successful. Mission extremely successful.
I'm on page 450 now.
Oh my. Alright, well, I clearly have just lost complete control of this. So, let's see what the chat has to say. Have I checked out the new Nile song? No, I'm going to check out the whole entire album, because guess what? That's leaked too. Did you know Five Finger Death Punch once followed me on Twitter? And I have no freaking idea why. Maybe they heard my music. Are you sure it's them or not somebody pretending to be them? Because apparently Ryback follows me on YouTube, but it's not really Ryback. as well as Children of Bodom and Dean Winchester from Supernatural, who's not a real person.
What?
Anyway, no, literally it was Dean Winchester. It wasn't like
What about Dean Winchester?
you subscribe to me on YouTube.
Oh yeah, you should.
Whenever you clipped your hair, did you like negate your hearing somehow?
No.
Because I just said it's not a real person. Should Ivan Moody be fired? Why? Why would Ivan Moody be fired from Five Finger Death Punch? Right now, nothing has been proven. The only thing that's been proven is that TMZ is a shitty place to get your news from, and that Zoltan knows what Twitter is. And apparently, TMZ also partakes in the whole idea that, oh no, people aren't believing what we've reported anymore. Better report something even more fucked up. And the misogynist. No. No. Did you listen to the new Black Dahlia? Not yet. That one is like a month away. I have it, but it's like a month away. I have said many, many times I will only review albums during their release week. And more often than not, it involves that they need to do a stream first or really indicate that we are okay to listen to them. It shows a little bit more respect. My mom follows me on YouTube, and it's actually her. Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. If your mom follows me on YouTube, tell her that I am sorry for all of the cursing. She'll know what I mean, even though she curses probably more than I do. Oh, you're still here. Oh, shit. This conversation after this stream goes off is going to be awkward. Anyway.
I'm not your mother.
What?
I'm not your mother.
I know you're not my mother, but I was doing his mother. She's kind of hot. Anyway. What about Ben Roethlisberger? Big Ben. Pretty awesome. Top 20 Megadeth songs. I'll make a video for that one day. That one day will probably be somewhere over the rainbow. Once the rainbow shows up. I've been waiting for it for a while. 2112 or Dark Side of the Moon. 2112. Dark Side of the Moon's an awesome album. But at the same time, it's not my favorite. Dark Side of the Moon, my favorite for that is Animals for Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd is done. They have officially broken up as of today, by the way. Yesterday, someday. It just happened. They're no longer with us. Let's all hang our heads in silence, and let's not actually, because we fucking saw that coming from a mile away. Yeah, what about Ben? Ben's great. Big Ben Roethlisberger, as my grandmother used to say, the year before she died. She didn't know how to say his last name. I would correct her and say it's Ben Roethlisberger. She said Roethlisberger. I was like, that's close enough, Grandma. You just watch your Ben Roethlisberger on the Steelers game, and she was losing her mind, so it's cool. My dad watches this. Sorry, but it's true. No disrespect to your mom and to my grandmother, but it was true. She called me and said Roethlisberger. It was hysterical. My father watches this stream. Good Lord, God help me. Either that or he's going to be convinced I'm the funniest man alive because he watches my videos. Well, as I said, mission successful. But it was appreciated. No.
Yeah.
Go read your book.
Okay.
I'm being choked to death. And it's not Bill Cosby choking. Or it's the kitten choking.
How would you choke it?
No, he'd be doing the choking.
Oh, how would you do that with his thumbs?
That was the joke. What, do you want to watch the hug?
Yes.
I hope it's off screen. More side projects. Gilmore has an album coming in a month. I did see that, and that's going to be pretty cool, I think. I think it's going to be okay. I want to stroke your hair, you handsome man. Well, sir or ma'am, um, I don't know where you're from. I don't know where you are. But let me wash it first, because it's a little greasy. Then you can stroke it all night long. Getting a look again. Do I listen to Prince? Absolutely. Have I heard Yob? I've seen Yob live. They're pretty awesome. Hey, coverkillernation, what do you think about the band 3 Days Grace? Saint Asonia is basically 3 Days Grace now, because 3 Days Grace, as it stands right now, is basically my darkest days with the backing band from 3 Days Grace before, which means nobody cares. How about the new Cattle Decapitation? How about that awesome album review I did of it, which basically said it was amazing? It's a hell of an album review, not to mention a hell of an album. Fantastic band. Really, I don't think so much that we were surprised that they put out a good album. I think we were all surprised that it actually satisfied the heightened expectations that we gave to it after we heard the first couple of tracks, the ones that they released. Favorite Agalok song, In the Shadow of My Pale Companion. I could go to that song any day, any hour, any minute, and immediately walk out of that experience, of course, like many, many minutes later, feeling better about whatever's going on. What's my favorite? Turbo Negro. My favorite song is right now, Turbo Negro Hates the Kids. Just love that track. It's just really, really addicting and catchy. By the way, everybody in chat right now, needs to worship Ole up there, whose name I'm probably destroying, because he is just a god. And I'm going to show you in a moment. Maybe. If I can get this crap out of here. Come on, get happy. Come on, get. Oh, no. No. I'm about to replace this. I'm confused. What?
I'm not trying.
Why not try the Beatles? Because it probably would have fallen. What's that? Yeah. I want to show it. Okay. I'm frozen on the screen. Oh no. Why not? Why not? Oh my gosh, there's a close-up of my crotch. That's ridiculous. Anyway, there's a big time delay I've noticed, because, man, that's like 2 or 3 minutes behind. But yes, Ole is an amazing, amazing individual who sent me 2 records all the way from Norway. You saw one of them if you watched the 10 Awesome Songs episode number 10. And that's this one right here, Ask Cobra by Turbo Negro, which is just awesome. It's really, really, it's just a great listen. But the one that everyone is probably going to care about and probably jizz over, and of course you probably saw this over on the Facebook page, is this right here. I don't know what you're doing with it. What? It's the mysterious I'm being distracted left and right tonight. What the fuck? Go read. Go get literate. Go get literate.
I'm already literate.
Are you?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
What's it say?
Famous.
Damn it, she is literate. But Ole is the man for sending these to me. He didn't have to. He did that by his own accord. I didn't beg him. I didn't claim I'd suck his dick if he did it. So big time ups to him for doing this. Very, very cool. It is not often that I actually give out my address, as I don't have a P.O. box or anything like that to accept things like this. And I really should consider establishing one, considering I know a lot of you send a lot of stuff. Oopsie, the playback could be doing. Oh my god. This delay is killing me. I'm watching myself more than I'm watching everything else. This is bad. Put these back here. So if you're wondering why within the next couple of weeks I'll probably be making a couple Turbo Negro references left and right, or talking about records and this and that, that's probably the reason why, the most important reason why. Will I be reviewing the Parkway Drive new album? Probably so. Recall for me when that comes out, because I'm lost right now. Children of Bodom and Fit for an Autopsy are both coming in October. That's correct. I don't know if I'll get to Fit for an Autopsy, but Children of Bodom is a lock. Children of Bodom is a lock. Am I going to review the upcoming Bless the Fall record? I don't know if I'm going to get, again, dates. Dates are very, very important right now, considering, as it stands, I'm looking over here at my, as it stands for this coming week, I have 7 albums that I want to touch. If not, yeah, 7 that I definitely want to touch. One of which could very easily be just for fun or very, very angry. I hear that a lot of people were pissed at the Butcher Babies song, so I guess I'm going to punish myself through that. And on the 28th, there are 6 albums that I want to talk about for sure. And on the 4th, there's only 4 for right now, but I'm sure that's going to expand as I find out more and more and more. But when is the Bless the Fall album? Maybe I will review it just for the lulz, because oh my god, Ole's just freaking incredible. Ole is just a fucking man. I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do here. Do I think Necrophagus will ever release a new album? Yes, they will. What's going to happen, a name, this is what's going to happen. Sometime in the future, they will release an album on the same day as Tool, and that will also, consequently, weirdly enough, I mean, this is just, you couldn't have planned this better. It will also be the same day that the next Guns N' Roses record fucking appears. Oh, and also Time Part 2 by Wintersun. There you go. No, to be perfectly fair and clear and not an asshole, I think they will eventually. It's just taking some time. It just is taking a lot of time. But for all we know, that maybe it won't happen. You know, for all we know, this could be it. I think they're still doing shows, aren't they? I hear they're still doing shows. So I mean, shit. Maybe this is all like one big joke. Do I like Am I Blood? If I remember correctly, I think I featured Am I Blood in a 10 Awesome Songs. I think I had the song Segregated Holocaust on there. I have just the one album. I think it's Agitation. But I hear that they've done like 1 or 2 afterward, and it's a little bit different by comparison. I remember that the Am I Blood album, I was filling out an old Century Media, was it the End Records? I think it was Century Media. I forget which one it was. It was cheap. You know, it was one of those deals that they were offering for not very much, and I kind of just took a gamble on it, and I ended up really liking it. I thought it was pretty cool. You know, I have a bad problem with sending things too. I honestly do. The guy who won the Cover Killer Nation Christmas contest actually just got into contact with me and was talking about how he's going to be sending something to me, which makes me feel bad because in the process of learning who he was, I had moved, and thusly I had misplaced the box that had the Dream Theater collection in it that was offered as the prize. So it took me a while to re-find and rediscover where that was. And then once I did, I couldn't find the other one. I had bought 2. It's the reason why I offered one of them. One of them I was keeping for myself, and the other one was meant to be a prize. So it just became a big, gigantic mess, and I still need to send that to him. It's been 8 months since somebody has won. I'm bad whenever it comes to that. I'm really bad at it. I should have known going in to performing a contest of that variety that would happen. For one, it took like 4 months for us to see who he was, declare the winner and everything like that. So it just became a mess. I guess that's what happens whenever you have a number of subscribers that they'll only hop into like a couple of videos. They don't watch, like 90% of them or something like that. And that's that's going to happen whenever you're an album reviewer or something like that, because people are going to obviously gravitate more toward the names that they either know or that have a little bit more interest for them. So I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm putting more of the blame on myself than anything else. HP Film says, what are your thoughts on the 3 Inches of Blood breakup? It's kind of tragic, but I don't know. I mean, they were a very good band. I'd say that they were above average. But their debut still captivates me to this day, probably the most, because that album is just ridiculous. Whenever you hear that voice for the first time, it takes you off guard, and you are just shocked. And then the tightness of the songwriting on that album was also a true highlight. Have you ever heard of a retired progressive thrash metal, Anacrusis? I probably just bastarded that name, Anacrusis. It's been a long time since I've heard anything from them. I guess it's because they're retired. The Pirates just scored. Hell yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. Do I watch any UFC? No. I really don't. I don't watch any UFC at all. I tried to for a very small period of my life, and it just wasn't all of that interesting to me. And that's nothing personal against UFC. I think that the product captivates a lot of people, and I just wasn't one of them. That's all. That's all. Polanco home run. Hell yeah. Opeth 747, proving that following the Pirates is a tremendous idea. Have you heard the song previews for the new Soilwork album? No, I haven't. With that one, I'm just going to wait for the disc to drop. The previews won't really do much for me. Like whenever I did listen to the Iron Maiden song preview before the song dropped. The 20 to 30-second clip. But that was mostly so I could get the date for when the song would come out, because again, that didn't prove too much to me either. It was a really cool musical idea, but until you hear those ideas within the full construct of the song, there's not much you can really say. I'm sure the previews to Saint Anger sounded incredible. Very raw, very emotional, blah blah blah. Then you get the album, which as I stated 2 years ago, if you consider what we have gotten ever since then, if you have considered some of the musical ideas that have come up and popped up in the 10 years, now closer to 15 years since Saint Anger's release, wow, that album's pretty good. Amur or Attila, who would I rather be forced to listen to? Mr. Flipper Invader. Probably Attila. They sound like more fun. Amur sounds like they are trying way too hard. Just another album review. Have I seen Straight Outta Compton yet? No, I have not. And that sucks because I wanted to see it. My thoughts on NWA is one of the most classic rap groups that have ever existed. They brought something to rap music that needed to be present for a long time. And that was a little bit of danger, a little bit of reality. You got that with some of the groups from the latter portion of the 1980s, but it didn't feel dangerous, or it didn't feel that raw. It didn't encourage fear until NWA. Have I ever been to a black metal concert? I've seen Watain live. I saw Watain live with Triptychon, actually. I've also been to an Immortal show. It was Immortal and Absu. That was fucking incredible. And I know that this is fringe line. It's more progressive Viking metal or whatever the hell people say, but I've seen Enslaved live twice, and they are just brilliant. They're an amazing group to see live. They're just an incredible group to see live. I actually went to a Dimmu Borgir concert just to see Enslaved. That was the reason I went. That's the reason why I was there. And I still remember about 4 years ago that I was slated to go to a Cradle of Filth show, and the principal reason why I was excited was because Knockmistian was going to be there. And that show ended up not happening because of some technical issues, and I was pissed because I didn't get to see Knockmistian. Whenever I should have been just happy as pissed to have gotten the experience, considering the ticket was given to me by a really good friend. That, well, there could be a full stream where I just gush about personal feelings. There really could be. Is something like that something that we really want to go through? Probably not. I would say probably not. But yeah, I have been to a couple shows. It's pretty awesome. Do I like Tombs? One moment of it. In the words of Duke Nukem, where is it? Some moron decided that they didn't want their copy of Winter Hours anymore, so it's mine. And it's pretty awesome. This is a really, really awesome disc. And actually, to be perfectly fair, I got it for $2 less than it was actually supposed to be. So now I feel as though, well, I don't feel bad about anything because I'm not cheating the band out of any extra money. It's not like secondhand CD shops give money to the artists or any of that crap. I thought he said Dinner Warrior. Yes. Yes, Dinner Warrior. Thoughts on the new Disturbed record? For me, it was a horrible experience. All-Star Music, I have not listened to the new Disturbed record yet. So I don't know if it is a terrible experience or not. Have I heard any Starset? Yes. I have checked out the Starset album. Not too bad. Not too bad. Didn't hit me the same way as a group such as like Carnival did. But they were unique, is what I will say about them. They were very unique. And I like that about them. I like the fact that they were very, very individual. Josh Simpson with a great topic. Is there a need for music videos anymore? Yes. There is. What the real problem is that we need a station. We need a musical station. Or should I say a television station that plays these things while on TV. You might think, well, CKN, coverkillernation, there's this thing that was invented called the internet, and this place called YouTube, where all of these music videos can be seen very easily and if you want to. If there's one thing that I can tell you all about how the 90s and previous decades were very different, I guess the 90s and the 80s, whenever we talk about the music video, is the fact that whenever stations were playing music videos 24/7, 365, or at least for the most part, music was being discovered at a more rapid pace than ever before. Ever before. The problem that would happen today is that it would stick to the pop construct, it would stick to the rap construct, it would stick to the ones that you get the people watching. Whenever, if you truly want to have a music video television station, if you truly want to have an MTV, a music television, you need to be willing to not be in it just because of money. And that's a difficult thing considering the goal of any business, and this is business 101, the goal of any business is to make money. But here's where the problem is. As y'all know, PBS stays on the air from donations from local businesses or larger businesses and viewers like you, as they say. Why in the world would you not want to support music? And second of all, why in the world would you want to just support the music station when the music station could easily extend themselves even further and have part of the donation go to continue musical programs not only in schools, but to help better fund musical education throughout the country? Hell, even throughout the world. Why does it seem like that that music and art and a lot of the other programs in schools these days have taken a backseat to sports? Now, I'm a sports fan. I'm a sports guy. Okay? I am a sports fanatic. But even I will say to all of you that if your school, or that if a school has purported a certain amount of money to the football team, for example, or even to all sports in general, that puts them at such a close twinge toward bankruptcy or toward, being in the red, that you have to suspend your band program, then I curse your sports program. If you have to limit or reduce or destroy the arts because of football or baseball, or because you want a goddamn tennis team, I hope that your programs fail. I do. Because quite frankly, you can't have one without the other. You can't simply state to children, if you want to be in sports, we support you 100% and hope that you'll join our team. That way, we can evaluate your talents and either cut you or say, nice job, put you on the third string where you'll never see any playing time. But you can't be a musician. Not in this school. We don't have a band. We don't have a this. We don't have a that. We're not going to have somebody to foster your artistry. Hey, there you go. As Bill said, some people that you've never heard of are making music videos on YouTube. You're absolutely right. So YouTube, for all the complaining that a lot of people give, I mean, it is a great platform. It does have the potential to really launch careers. The problem with it is that you have to be just as good as marketing as you have to be just as good at marketing as you are at promotion and everything, and as an artist. Hold on a second. I texted the mistress. I say that with a laugh. A friend of mine actually was having kind of a rough time whenever it came to her health a little earlier today. She's been under a lot of stress, and it's been causing her to kind of freak out. And so, just checking up, trying to be a good guy, trying to be a good individual. But do I still find heavy metal record shops in my area? Are they still relevant? No. There is only one. Actually, there's just one place to go to get music in this area, and that is that's the FYE that I no longer work at. And I'm not even sure if they sell records anymore, to be perfectly honest. I haven't been in that store in months. But down in Pittsburgh, there's a couple more record stores. There's about 3 or 4 that I know of. Um, I went to this awesome record store in Cleveland, Ohio called Music Saves. And for those of you who are from the Pittsburgh area, you might be like, Cleveland. Yeah. This record store is pretty awesome. It's actually where I got a pressing of an Earth album, Angels of Darkness, Demons of Light. I think it was part 1. I found that. I found a Margo and the Nuclear So-and-So's record that I've never seen anywhere, which is Rock Cut Domestic. I was able to find the Animal Not Animal Buzzard. I was able to special order, and the Dust to Retreat I was able to get easily. Whenever it came to Rock Cut Domestic, I couldn't even special order it at my store. So whenever I saw this, it was incredible. It was great. I had to get it, and I own it based around that. Just love that place. It had a lot of cool stuff. Now there wasn't a lot of metal there. There's one thing I will say. It was one that was a little bit more geared toward the indie scene and things that were, it seemed like a shop that back whenever Fantano was doing a lot of indie work, whenever he was reviewing a lot of indie stuff, that he would love that place. You know what I mean? I dig it. But come back to FYE. They don't want me back. And I don't want to go back. I really don't. The way that whole thing went down. I have no disrespect toward the people I worked with, by the way. That makes it sound like perhaps I liked nothing about it. I loved it. I loved my job whenever I had it. Nothing but love for the people that I worked with. Whenever it comes to the higher ups, the people that were above that level, care less about them. Give less of a fuck about them. If they died tomorrow, oh well. Now here's the question: Do we start the GoFundMe or the crowdfund for CKN Fest, or do we start the GoFundMe or the crowdfund for the world's largest heavy metal record shop? That's the question. That's the question right there. The most ridiculous metal subgenre name that I can think of. It's got to be something within the core department, something stupid. Like slam is pretty stupid, I think, as a name generally. But there's a couple of other things that they're unofficial names and stuff like that. Like Cattlecore, for example, I think was one that was used for. No, it was Horsecore. Horsecore. It was an old Dead Horse album. It's called. The album I think was called Horsecore, a strange story that's time consuming, I think is the name of the full name of the album, and they call their music Horsecore, which is pretty hysterical to me. Will I ever do a full AC/DC album review? No. No, I will not. Principally because, do I have the book from Nurgle? No, I don't. I won't do the AC/DC album review because after Back in Black, I wouldn't have much to talk about. I really wouldn't. There's not much difference between Back in Black and a lot of the albums that follow. The only difference is that Back in Black, everything hit, and on the subsequent albums, here and there. Chiptune metal. I thought that said Chipotle metal. I actually thought that Crabcore. Yeah, that's another one. What do you think of clickbaits and metal webzines? Are these tabloid-oriented sites ruining the metal culture? No, clickbait's just there to make a buck. Do you know the reason why clickbait exists, actually? Metal is for neckbeards and angry teens. Crap. I do have hair on my neck right now. And I was an angry teen. I guess that guy's right. But clickbait was actually, it's just there to make a buck. If you make something like that has like 20 different reasons and you make each one a separate page, it's like a separate impression for the ad money. And some people have said that they have increased their ad revenue that they get, and also satisfying the number that would require, the number of impressions it takes to get that ad revenue, based around doing the clickbait idea. Whether or not that's true or not remains to be seen, but that's really what that's all about. That's kind of the big internet thing, considering everybody and their mother now has some sort of Google AdSense thing going on, whether it be, that's like see, back whenever the internet was first getting started, I remember you had to pay money to make like a GeoCities, not GeoCities page, but you had to, well, maybe you did. I forget. That was a long time ago. Yeah, but you had to pay money to get the domain for one of those pages, and then there was no way for you to get any more, for you to get money from other people, unless you asked for donations via a PayPal whenever that first got started and shit like that. So that's what's up. That's what's up. Soilwork are labeling themselves on their Facebook as divorce core. I would like to try that out. I know a couple people that are divorced, so maybe that does work. I had this weird dream last night that I took one of my friends to go see In Flames live, and somehow got her backstage to talk with the band. And that wasn't the interesting part about the dream, actually. The interesting part about the dream is that apparently I knew the band based around an interview that I did for CKN, which I, of course, have never done. So it was very strange to see within the dream myself speaking so casually to a band. But then again, it shouldn't be that strange since I spoke very casually to All Shall Perish. I spoke very casually to them. There was no interview or anything like that. It was during a signing, actually. I believe it was their bassist or their drummer recognized me from the review of their latest record. So one of the biggest critiques I've ever gotten from a band is, "You are a critical motherfucker." All Shall Perish, 2011. Do what I did and just listen to old Richard Pryor stuff in the bit. Wow, I do that a lot with George Carlin. Will I ever review another Bullet for my Valentine album? Yes, I will. Whenever the new one comes out after Venom. Do I think the emo genre is dead? Yes. I think that it is. I think that now the emo style is still alive, but the emo genre is dead principally because emo is not really a style of music. It was just a term that was given to bands that were post-hardcore that were subsetting or subletting a side of rock and roll or rock music or alternative. So, I mean, it's kind of like gent in a way, where the term was labeled but it really doesn't say anything about anything. But then again, does any rock genre or genre name say anything about anything? Like, whenever you think of jazz music, who decided that was called jazz? And easily somebody who came up with the blues could have called it the greens or the oranges or the teals or the Granny Smith apple green. The sun yellows. So, it really isn't a genre. It was more of a fashion statement that was attached with music. But all things considered, that's fair. I think it's gone. I think it's done. I really do. I think it's done. Quackcore, hell yeah. What is Uncle Dolan in a fucking metal band? That'd be awesome. Do I think the new Battlecross album will be good? I hope so. I don't want to talk about them negatively. That's the thing. Like, I don't want to talk about anybody negatively. They drive me to do it by releasing shit. Battlecross, by the way, is on the list for this week. Just to kind of give you guys a little bit of an example of what this week is looking like. And I'll probably, no doubt, forget about some of them. We have Disturbed. We have Ghost. We potentially have Spock's Beard and Rivers of Nile. We have Battlecross, The Sword, and Butcher Babies. Oh, fun. Now, I know the Nile is available, but the Nile will be reviewed closer to the release date. For the 28th, right now, I'm looking at Motorhead, Nile, Five Finger Death Punch, Soilwork, Ahab, and Beach House. And before you motherfuckers get critical of me saying Beach House, that's a selfish pick, and I'm allowed to have one of those. Nah. And then for the 4th so far, I just have 4, surprisingly. Amorphous, Iron Maiden, Riverside, and Leaves' Eyes. There's anything that you can think of that is that I missed. That's major, you know. Don't post them in the comments right there, you know, in the chat. This video will be on YouTube very shortly because I'm about to go. That's the place to go. Have I heard the new Omnium Gatherum? I had somebody link me to it, and it's pretty good. That's going to be a pretty awesome album, I think. Oh, my favorite Monster, it's the original. Whenever I first started drinking Monster, it was the orange one, whatever the hell that was called, I forget. At the behest of a friend of mine who I miss a lot. But that quickly didn't happen. I was gonna say I didn't miss Soilwork, did I? Okay, well. Worth it and talk to Joker fan. Well, the reason why I didn't want to talk too much about that, I run into this issue all the time. And once again, Ole, before I get too far ahead of myself, that's going to be freaking awesome. I thank you so much for that. But I don't spend too much time per song because I try to do those now videos as quickly as I can. And it never happens the way I want it to. Like, I would love to have those videos be like 6 minutes shorter than what they end up being. But I have too much to say. And it actually is seldom stuff that's like that, where you're making comparisons to different songs. I sort of thought about that, the Worth It and Talk Dirty similarity. But I almost think that's more of something that pop music will be doing with a couple more songs. It's like they discovered that other musical instruments exist. Take 2 or 3 more questions. First of all, do you think Linkin Park should call it quits or carry on making music? Let them carry on. Let them go. Their last album was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Album of the year so far. Oh my God. We've actually done a top 10 for the first half of the year. And if you want to know about the album of the year, just watch that video and watch the number 1 portion, because that's still number 1. Still number 1. Somebody wants to know what I think about Jared Leto as the Joker from the Suicide Squad trailer. His performance is pretty awful. He's going to have to prove himself to a lot of people. And people are freaking out quite a bit about it. Give it time and see what happens whenever the film comes out. If there's one thing that I will say is that even if Jared Leto is the worst Joker of all time, the movie will probably still be better than Fantastic Four. Which also means, consequently, that the movie will no doubt be 2,000 times better than Iggy Azalea's entire musical repertoire, period. So, there you go. Album of the year so far, Book of Souls, hasn't even been released yet. That's probably, if there's any album right now that I look at with potential to maybe dethrone Steven Wilson right now, it's Iron Maiden. And you know, as an Iron Maiden fan, like as an Iron Maiden junkie, that should be my thought anytime that they release an album. But I've kind of gotten into this groove where I know whenever Maiden releases a disc. It's going to be good, but it's not necessarily going to be that album of the year caliber, because I think those days are maybe behind them. But then you have this. You have a double album. We have an 18-minute long Iron Maiden. So this has genuine magical potential. And that's why I think I feel a little bit differently about this album and kind of think that it has a chance. Oh, you're heading out, Ole? I am too. I'll see you later up the irons, man. I'm actually going to head out as well, ladies and gents. We've been going at it for about an hour and 17 minutes. As I said, this is going to be going up on YouTube instantaneously. And by instantaneously, I mean it's going to probably take like 5 to 10 minutes to process. Once it finishes the processing, you should be able to access it. Either that, or I think you can just refresh the. You can just refresh this. And again, you shouldn't have to watch what you just watched, but I would appreciate it if you maybe did, maybe while you're asleep or something like that. But of course, the reason why I say that is because if I forgot a release from the next 3 weeks that perhaps is major and big, leave me something in the comments about that. Leave me something in the comments about that and any other release that's coming within the next month or two that you'd really like to see it covered. Might not be able to do it, might not be able to get to it, but definitely leave me that and any other ideas for videos that you like, because I do read the stuff, and it does sometimes actually cause a video to be made. Like the Gent Relevant or Ridiculous was made by a fan. That was a fan's idea that he wanted to see me do. Hair Metal Relevant or Ridiculous was somebody over on the Facebook side of things. I want to see things here on this YouTube side of things this time. So I'm going to leave a note about that whenever I share it with the remainder of the CKN page over on Facebook. But yeah, guys, I'm out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. You have a good weekend too. You guys all have a good weekend. Tomorrow I am going to the mountains. I'll have a video for you guys tomorrow, though, so I'll be working on that tonight. What it's going to be, I'm not sure yet. I don't know yet. You have to stay tuned and find out. That's all I'll say. All right, Joes and Joettes, I'm out of here. Peace. Keep it metal.